Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm feeling it. Yeah, it's party time. Time to Gorn. Oh yeah. Welcome, my fellow Quest heads and VR nerds. This is Eyes on VR, where I take a look at every VR game I can get these grubby little hands on, but I always prioritize VR shooters. I take a look at real-life accessories, gun stocks, VR tech, and VR game news as well. Do you think Gorn is going to become the most gory and brutal game to be on the Quest systems? Let me know in the comments down below. So obviously it's no secret that I'm going to take an in-depth look at Gorn on the Oculus Quest systems and see what this port is really like. I'm going to cover everything about the game, sounds, visuals, gameplay, you name it. So with that said, cue the gameplay montage. I call this the hammer clink. Clink! Okay, give me that. Yeah, that's right, you don't like that. Do you? You don't like that? Bonk! And arrow, you're done. Yoink. Crowd control! Oh yeah, that was good. Double hammer time! Oh. Okay, here we go, buddy. I got this. Come on, bring it on, bring it on. Come on! Come on. You seeing this? Hey, anyone seeing this? If I wear his flesh, I'll gain his powers. Oh, it's stuck! It's stuck! Yeah, are you not entertained? That's right, Zoidberg claws. The power of Zoidberg. Come and be destroyed by the power of the claw. There we go. Off you go. Bye-bye.
Handle advanced weaponry. Salute us and kill your enemies.
Who's your king now? I had a tough day at work, and this is really helping. Oh yes, that's right. With Gorn, there's plenty of this. There's plenty of that. There's plenty of this. And there's a lot of this. As always, timestamps will be in the description down below, so if you want to get to a part in the video quickly, just go down there and skip ahead to what you want to see. If you enjoyed the video though, please leave a like. It really helps out the channel and I really appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe down below as well for more Oculus Quest and PC VR content. That's enough of all that stuff. Let's get into it. Okay, so I'm going to make a few of the same references I did to an in-depth review on a game called Battle Talent, the Quest's answer to Blade and Sorcery, and you can check that out right here. Because in the same vein, I am warning you right now, you need space. The physics in Gorn require momentum. And for that momentum to happen, you will need to swing, and you will need to swing big. So trust me, make sure you're in a safe area without people or breakable stuff around you. So, Gorn. Gorn was released on PC VR way back in 2017, and it really is one of the big boys of the PC VR gaming world. I mean, if you have PC VR, you will have almost definitely heard of or even own Gorn by now. It's also been ported to the PSVR, and it looks like the Quests are last to get the game. I think the big appeal here to have Gorn on the Quest systems is that wire-free play experience in a gladiator simulator. I mean, that's made for no wires, especially with you having to swing wildly, dodging, moving around without wires. I can tell you now, it is oh so sweet. So far, Gorn though is not optimized for the Quest 2, so Quest 2 owners, what you see is exactly what people on the Quest 1 are going to get. But I do think the devs will upgrade things for the Quest 2 once they've had a little more time to work on it. Now, as I said before, Gorn is, and I quote, a ludicrously violent VR gladiator simulator where you strike down an infinite supply of poorly animated opponents with all manner of weapons. End quote. That right there is a description from the devs themselves, and it's spot on. It could not be more accurate. Gorn is exactly that, with a big dose of not taking itself too seriously thrown in and some real humor. I mean, hell, if you pull the trigger on your controller when you're not holding a weapon, it makes you flip the bird. So I purchased Gorn in January 2021 for £14.99, which is around 20 bucks from the official Oculus Quest store. Now I'm going to cover a lot in this review, more than enough to let you know what Gorn is like and whether you think that it's worth your money. So let's get into it. So the story, there is one here for what it's worth, and it's pretty self-explanatory. You're a gladiator, you fight your way through the king's men and champions till you defeat them all and fight a final boss at the end, or to become the chosen one, basically, and that's about it. But becoming the chosen one does have some benefits, it has to be said. Now, all this ludicrous violence is presented all with a cel-shaded, cartoony sort of style, all with exaggerated features and expressions on all the other characters, including the audience and the king. Now, this is the best way to go, considering how much blood there is. If this was very realistic, I don't know if it would ever make it to the Oculus store. The game style is pretty cool, but it certainly shows there's no upgrade for the Quest 2 here. It looks like a Quest 1 game, and I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, it's just something to note if you're on the Quest 2 and you feel a bit disappointed by the visuals. But considering this game is not even a 500 meg download, kudos to the devs for putting in everything that they have. Now, to go with those visuals is some great sound designs. You can hear the air whipping around when you're swinging weapons. When you clench your fists, you can hear the hands crack and the gloves tighten. There's great audio feedback, whether you're hitting armor or you hit flesh, you can hear the difference. There isn't much difference in sound when using different weapons though. Whether you're using a sword or a hammer, the hits sound the same on armor and skin, there's not really much difference there. There's no music here either, just the sound of the fight and the crowd. And the crowd do speak. Well, they speak something. Just like the gladiators that you fight, they speak something. The best example I have for you on this is Simlish.
Rajab? Warba. Blurna Payfinskuma. Uh-huh.
That's basically what everybody speaks, except for the king. Don't you worry, he is fluent in English.
Take the new weapon, salute us, and fight.
So we know how it looks and we know how it sounds, but what's important here is how does Gorn play? Well, when you get into Gorn for the first time, you'll be shown how to move, and this is absolutely diabolical. You have to hold A or X and move the controller to move forward. So you basically grab the world and move it so you move forward within it, and it is horrible. You can tell this came out 4 years ago with that movement logic, but do not fret. You will have a quick punch up after being shown how to move to get a better understanding of how the combat works, and then you'll be in the tower hub area. It's got 5 floors and a custom floor, which I'll get into later, the 3 floors of levels, and the main floor where you'll see an old man, a closed off area for now, and you will have access to the settings, and this includes the movement settings. You can change the movement so you can move with your sticks and follow your head as you move, which is very relieving, as I've heard a lot of people hate on this game because of the default moving setting, because they haven't quite seen how to change it and the game doesn't tell you about that. And while we're here in the settings, I'll just tell you a little bit about some of them that there are. You can change a good amount of stuff here. You can turn off the gore and have the low violence setting, which is absolutely amazing and not what you expect. If you turn on the low violence settings, the enemies will be made of wood and they will bleed candy. You can change whether armor shatters or not, the difficulty settings, and if things go slow-mo on a kill, which I advise that you do, because sometimes you have a lot of guys coming at you and they're all flying around the arena after you hit them and you don't know whether they're dead or not, and you don't know whether you should worry about them coming back on you. So I would say keep slow-mo on death turned on. So once you're done with your settings on the main floor, you head up to floor 1 and you're off. It's time to Gorn. So each floor will have 3 levels, each set in one arena. So floor 1, 2, and 3 have different arenas, but they have 3 levels within that arena. Each level will show you some new weapons, and you have to fight a bunch of guys that vary from no armor to light armor, heavy armor. They'll have ranged weapons too, swords, shields, and more. As you go along, of course, don't forget to salute your king.
Hold your weapon and salute. Pick up your weapon and salute us. Weapon, salute us and fight. Salute me.
What'll happen is there'll be multiple rounds where waves and waves of guys come at you, and when you finish the round, a crate will drop at one end of the arena and you'll be presented with a new weapon or one that you've seen before, or a special weapon. But don't worry, if it's a new weapon, you can keep your favorite on you the whole time if you want to. You don't have to switch. The only thing you need to do is pick up the new weapon, salute the king, to start the new round, but then you can throw that away and go back to the weapon you had before if that's what you prefer. I highly recommend the bow. I really unlocked my inner Legolas powers in here that I did not know that I had. Gorn's bow is great fun. Now, after a few waves of normal gladiators, you'll be presented with a boss fight. That is relatively difficult depending on the boss. The first boss I fought didn't really come at me at all. Whoa, okay, this guy looks like a big deal. All right, you and me, bro. Here we go, come on. I can do this. I'll take you on, let's go. Come on, let's go. Come on. Is anyone else seeing this? You seeing this? What's it? Alright, big fella, I'll help you out. Come on, here we go. But they are definitely harder than your normal gladiators, so they definitely are ones to watch out for, because when they hit you, you will be done. Here's something to note though, you will die in one hit, sort of. When you get hit, the screen starts to go red and then your vision will slowly start to go into tunnel vision, smaller and smaller until the screen goes black and you're dead. Now, to get your health back, it is not as easy as just not being hit for a little while. You have to make a kill to get your health back. So if anybody, any gladiator, even the bottom of the chain gladiator hits you one time, you will die from it if you don't end up getting a kill right after or in the allotted time frame. Once you defeat the bosses though, that's it, the level's over and it's on to the next rounds. Now here comes the fun part. Let's talk about weapons, because they and the physics of this game are the stars of the show. I'm not going to cover all of them because that is a video in itself. Plus, if you do decide to buy this, you'll have no surprises and that's no fun. Weapons range from various types of swords. You've got maces as well, bows, hammers, spears, huge double-handed hammers and spears and maces as well, and some very fun special weapons. You've got all the standards here, but an interesting selection of special weapons from Zoidberg claws. Bow before Zoidberg. Throwing knives that you grab from your wrist. All right, come on, what you got? What you got? What you got? Make the shot, come on, missed it, yoink, and throwing knife, boop. I said throwing knife, boop. Rock gloves, here we go, nice, hey, back up. Mini crossbows that you have to wind up, wind. Man, these things are so cool. Are these things real? I would love some of these. Bing. And more, including Wolverine claws, so you can enjoy the hell out of that. The selection of weapons here is great, and there is a hell of a lot of them. And they all do a brutal amount of damage, especially the swords. If someone's got too many limbs and you want to help them out, a sword will deal with that no problem. Now the physics here are great too, and I cannot fault them. It's rare that you see these kind of physics on the Quest systems. Weapons react with each other, which is nice, same with the armor and shields, but when you have maces and double-handed weapons, the physics really shine. A two-handed hammer or mace needs two hands to wield, as without them, the weapon won't even make it off the ground. Swinging these weapons around reacts properly as well, and you can feel the weight, especially when you're holding a mace. It just will not go anywhere without the proper momentum. And single-handed swords, for some reason, have a very rubbery quality to them, but I'm not sure what that's about. I think that, again, is just the physics. So while we're talking weapons, let's get into the obvious here, the gore. And oh yeah, this game is gory as hell. There is blood all over the place. Every hit, whether it's with a fist or a weapon, it means a lot of blood. And when the devs say this game is violent, there's some serious dismemberment mechanics going on here. It's like Dead Space dismemberment mechanics I'm talking about. You can cut off any limb from any enemy, and you can literally rip off arms and legs as well. Even their heads, just grab their head, then grab their body and start to pull, and off it comes.
Handle advanced weaponry. Salute us and kill your enemies.
It's brutal. Hell, you can rip a man's arm off and then beat another man to death with it. I mean, if you really want, you can kill two guys pick up their bodies and then beat another person to death with the 2 bodies. I mean, this shit is ridiculous. Now, is this game for kids, I hear you asking, and that is up to you to decide. The visual cartoony style says yes, you could get away with a kid playing this, but if you think about exactly the things I've just mentioned, about beating people to death with 2 corpses, maybe it's not so much for kids. But Gorn does have you covered. Like I mentioned before, they do have a low violence mode, and if you turn this on, it does change a lot, and it becomes a lot more kid friendly, depending on your definition of that. The enemies are then made of wood, and they bleed candy. No blood here. Sure, you can still dismember people, but they bleed candy, so it's not so bad. And I have to throw some real respect to the devs here for their humor, because that is such a great idea, and not something I've ever seen in a VR game before. Now, we've talked about the main floor and the 3 combat floors for the story, if you will, but on the bottom floor of the tower hub, there is a custom section. This is basically a sort of sandbox mode-ish, but it's more just a custom fight, and this is a good little mode. You can select anything you like to your custom specific settings, even how tall you are or the enemies are. There's giant mode, which makes you exactly that, but the enemies are basically child size, and beating them to a pulp made me feel a little bit uneasy. There's tiny mode, where you're the small one and the enemies are all massive, but there are individual dials here where you can change everything to your whim and not pre-settings. You can change the gravity, you can put God mode on, hardcore Gorn mode, you can tweak the height of enemies and yourself, how big their heads are, the armor, if enemies have weapons or not, what arena you're going to play in, and so on. I mean, there is just full customization here. Plenty of time to spend making the perfect matches for yourself over and over and over again. Now, when it comes to weapons in the custom mode, as you advance through like the game story itself, you'll unlock weapons that can be used for the custom mode. So if you want to use every weapon in the game, you're going to have to finish the main game before you have access to all of those in the custom modes. Also, you could just do a boss rush mode in custom if you really want to. What's really nice here as well is that you can have custom preset slots. So you can have 3 different save slots with different presets for games. So when you get something perfect, you can save it, and if you want to come back and play that certain way of doing things again, all you have to do at the touch of a button, it's enabled all of your presets that you wanted and you're good to go again. Now look, all of this sounds fun and the game is fun, but I will say this, and this is my opinion and I'm not telling you this is how you're gonna feel, but I got kind of bored kind of fast. The gameplay loop is the same thing over and over again, and to the devs' credit, they do shake things up with special weapons you can get, and that does change it up quite a bit. But after half an hour or so, I was just yearning for something a little bit more realistic aesthetically, like you would get with Battle Talon or Blade and Sorcery. I don't respond too well to this more childish, cartoony sort of visual flavor that they have going on here. Regardless, it is very hilarious, but it's just not specifically the thing that I am most attracted to visually with games. I also wouldn't have said no to some guns either, but we all know this channel's all about the guns, so that's not very surprising. It's just kind of the same thing over and over and over. And I know, if it was waves of guys coming at you and I had a bunch of guns, I'd be fine with it. And yes, I probably would. But my issue here with Gorn is more that I figured out a bit of a game breaker. Whether you're on normal or hard mode, on a boss gladiator or normal gladiators, if you have 2 weapons in your hands, say 2 swords or 2 hammers, and you just shake your hands really fast, you win everything. You can't be stopped, and once I figured that out, it sort of broke it for me, because I knew no matter what, I just had to swing my hands, well, swing my wrists around real fast, and I could beat anyone. Armored, not armored, whether they've got a bow, whether they're a boss, easy peasy, just swing your hands real fast and you absolutely win. Which kind of diluted the tension really from me, because I knew no one could get a hit in on me, so I wasn't going to have a problem. But more than anything, like I said, it is more of those sort of childish, cartoony visuals that really does it for me. I mean, don't get me wrong, that doesn't make it a bad game. It works well and the variety is really good. This has been one of the most popular VR titles for years for a reason, and I'm always open to trying new things and potentially have my mind changed by stuff I wouldn't normally try. Just like what happened when I looked at a ProTube for the first time, which you can check out right here. I was always against the things, never ever looked at them because they looked like trash, but I tried one and it was freaking amazing and now I love it. Unfortunately, that just didn't happen so much with Gorn. I do enjoy it. This is a great stress reliever, no lie about that. This really is super cathartic. And if I leave it for a bit, I would like to come back to Gorn, but I just wouldn't play it for more than half an hour really, I don't think. But if this is a game that you've looked at here and everything I've said appeals to you, then this is absolutely worth the price that you're gonna pay, especially with the custom mode, all of the extras. And hey, kids can get involved as well, just turn on the low violence and you'll be fine. I've talked to people who keep coming back to this game over and over and over again, and it's always fun for them, and it has been for years. I'm not saying this game is bad and you shouldn't play it. If this appeals to you, go for it, and it's absolutely worth the money. When it comes to Gorn and it comes to this port, it's everything the PC version is apart from the crisp visuals, but that's standard stuff being a native application on the Quest. It's not often a port is this good and accurate to its original incarnation from PC VR. So if you ever wanted the PC VR version but you don't have access to that, you're looking at it right now for the Oculus Quest. If this looks like your thing, go and check it out. You will not regret it. There's lots to do here, lots to see, and it will probably keep you guys coming back who like this style over and over and over again. Well, that's it for Gorn, and it is exactly what it said on the tin. It is, and I believe I'm quoting here, a ludicrously violent gladiator simulator, and that is exactly what it is. Whether you're on PC VR or the Oculus Quest systems, that translates over perfectly. It's nice and smooth, the gameplay is good. If you want a bombastically gory, crazy fighting simulator with great physics, Gorn is the game for you. But it's up to you to decide whether it's worth your 20 bucks. And whether you're interested in getting Gorn right now or you're gonna get it later in the future. If you enjoyed the review, please leave a like on the video. I really appreciate it and it really helps out the channel. Don't forget to subscribe down below as well for more PC VR and Oculus Quest content. I have been Rex, this is Eyes on VR. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.